How I met Dave and then re-met Dave. It was on the M11 protest against the M11 Link Road. We'd done a site invasion. Quite a number of us went bust into this site and sat on a crane to try and stop it. Well, to stop it working, basically. And we just sat there, waiting, to see what their move was going to be. There was security there, but we outnumbered them. So I was on this crane, and I looked up, and there's the arm of the crane, the main part of the crane. It's about 60 feet above, something like that. So it was quite high. It was pretty high. 60 to 100 feet. I don't know. I don't want to exaggerate, but it was fucking high. If you fell off, you'd hurt yourself. And there was a guy up there from the distance. I didn't know who he was. I just saw this guy sitting at the top of this arm of this crane. So I just thought, shit, I'm going to try and get up there. I don't know how he got up there, but I'll figure it out. So stupidly, I think, quite stupidly, I thought there was a kind of steel cable running up to this arm, and it was kind of greased quite a lot. I thought it would be a good idea to sort of like take my t-shirt off, maybe, I don't know, use that on my hands, and then climb up fist over fist all the way up to the top where this guy was. Yeah, pretty stupid. I mean, I was kind of fit in those days. I had been doing a lot of barricading on Claremont Road, and I was kind of like hammering and sawing and whatever, carrying and stuff, like for a few months. I was quite strong. But was it strong enough? I don't know. So I started doing it, right, and for a first, I don't know, 10 fists over fists, with the grease and your whole body weight just dangling underneath. I mean, just such a stupid thing to have done, but halfway across, you're kind of like, oh shit, well, I can't go back, and unless I go forwards and get to the top, then I'm just going to dangle here and eventually run out of strength and just fall. And I looked down, and there was this kind of like nasty little kind of notch in the side of the crane, like kind of steel notch that you really wouldn't want to fall into. That was looking very nasty indeed. I don't know what you'd hurt. You'd probably hurt quite a lot. Probably maybe even kill yourself. I don't know. But probably end up in a wheelchair. So shit. Yeah. So I started to struggle, and fist over fist of fist of fist. It was taking forever, and I was like, "Oh, am I going to make it?" And I started to sort of get this feeling of panic. And then this guy at the top of the crane starts calling out to me, saying, "Come on, man, you can make it. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. You know." And that stage probably the only face I could see, and encouraging me. I mean, how the fuck did he get up there? I don't know. Yeah, that's crazy. But anyway, I kept going and kept going and kept going, and just get towards the top. Three more fists to go, and two, was just, my entire body was, I don't know, like steel. It just felt like I was dangling. It's like every muscle in my body was like straining. But all my strength in my wrists, my arms, my shoulders, my back, every single shred of strength. And then I made it. Yeah. And I got to the top and I was like, fucking hell, that was a stupid thing to do. Oh my God. Oh my God, I could just sit there and perch and, thank you, mate. I said to this guy, and what's your name? He said, Dave. He had a Brummie accent. So, yeah. So then the next thing he says is yeah, it's Dave. Oh, Dave. All right, mate. Have you got any tobacco? So this is the first thing he asked me. He says, have you got any tobacco? As if like, I mean, back in those days you didn't have like Deliveroo, yeah, you didn't have that kind of like delivery services. But yeah, gone all the way out there and just had it in my pouch, which I did. I had tobacco in my back pocket. I always had tobacco. Yeah. So then we smoked, and eventually, everyone was cleared off eventually, or it was negotiated. We held up the work for like good afternoon, and there was something that wanted to come in to be offloaded by this crane that it couldn't, and it just sat there. This trucks just sat there with these huge drums on. I don't know what the hell that was going to be for. Something to do with the M11 and tunnelling and all the rest of it. Yeah, they had these huge drums. Yeah, probably filled with concrete or something, and then dug out. I don't know. Probably, yeah. So we held that up, and they were a bit pissed off, and then they negotiated with us eventually towards the end of the evening. They said, if you leave now, you won't get nicked. Just come down off that fucking crane, please. So then it was like, well, how do we get down? And that way, I don't know. I just seemed to sort of suss it. I think I sussed it on the first run. I just held the cable and then put my leg over and used the crux of my knee and just slid down quite easily down this thing. Yeah, I was covered in grease, man. I was just like absolutely covered in grease and grime and shit. And we went back to Claremont. God knows how I got clean, because there was no showers or bars or anything like that, So yeah, we went back to Claremont Road. That was the big squat at that time. It was preparing. It's where I lived for 7 months, and yeah, that we went back there and we got back to the street, and a lot of people obviously there that had been on the protest, and the vibe was really amazing, and just yay, we did it, man. We did an action. We stopped them. If you even just for like an afternoon, but we stopped them. People power stopped them, and then I lost sight of Dave. Dave just wandered off, and that was it. I never saw him. I didn't see him. But then one day when I was at the 491 gallery, it was really strange because there was this guy who started to get involved in the gallery. This is 2003. 2003, so it's a good 1994 to 2003. That's a number of years, yeah. And I had, later after the action, and there was this guy, and he was from he was a bit edgy, a bit arty and edgy, and just checking us out and not knowing what we are, and but it was all right. I could handle him because I'd handled people, like all sorts of people in my life, so I could, he was fine for me. but it was just a bit edgy, I'd say, for the vibe of the space. The 491 at that time, it was a bit kind of drippy hippie, really. With this guy, yeah, we were like inside the 491 gallery, and he told me his name's Dave, and he's from Birmingham. So we kind of chatting, and we've been doing some graft in the garden and stuff. That was landscaping, and Steve Johnson walks in, and Steve Johnson's got like a box of photographs from the M11 days, yeah. And we're looking through these photographs. Both me and Dave are looking through these photographs, and suddenly like, oh, what's that? That is what? And there was a photograph in there from 1994, because Steve Johnson just filmed loads and loads of protest stuff around that time, and there was a photograph of me, right? Yeah, definitely me, younger me, and then at the same time Dave like going, "Hey, that's me, that's me," and we were like, "What? Wow! So you were the guy up the crane? Wow!" That day, it's like we just like, what the fuck? That is just weird. I mean, I don't think Dave had to be on drugs, and I definitely wasn't on drugs to find that weird, but that was just trippy, very serendipitously trippy, and the fact that Steve Johnson just randomly turned up with this box and found a photograph, and it was Dave. Dave up that crane. Dave asking me for tobacco. Yeah, that was Dave. And then from that point on, he got involved with me and Vertigo and the 491. We were like, man, we're talking blood brothers. You know what I mean? It's he saved my life in a way. Yeah, he did save my life. He really did save my life. He was the only face. He was like the kind of like the police negotiator. And I'm like, don't look down, you know. So yeah, that was Dave, and that's why I got involved in Dave, and that's why I forgave a lot of Dave's indiscretions. I mean, apart from, there was a couple of times but in general, like we were just had maximum respect for each other. I mean, or a connection on a level that is weird, man. Just what, such a coincidence, and yeah, something, it just meant a lot.